Andrew Clark, and
But you didn't do, usually you guys go like this.
Oh,
It looks fun.
I decided to present the individual in the law, and it's a general education course, which mainly focuses on our rights as individuals in America and how the government is involved in our freedom. A lot of the topics covered are things about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and our amendments as citizens of the United States, as well as government's involvement in torture tactics or military involvement overseas and such things like that. Assignments usually included short writing assignments about the readings that we had to do. They were typically case studies from either torture victims, rape victims, people who have abused gun amendments, or even times when people have questions to governments overruling, such as in Chicago when they outlawed handguns for any citizen and someone appealed it because it was self-protection. He just wanted to have a handgun on him just for his safety, and he actually overturned it in Washington, D.C. So there's a lot of cool cases that we look at that apply a lot to ourselves, such as like the search and seizure, whether like when the police officer is allowed to search a car or come to your house. We also had a lot of reading assignments, but the class was really cool because even though we had to read, we'd go over the case for like 15 minutes in class before just to clear things up, and after we'd just have an open-ended discussion with the teacher, and we could present our opinions about like how the government's treating us, like about the certain subject we're talking about, and he'd argue like the counter-argument back, because the teacher who taught it was actually really good at arguing too, because he was the defense attorney for the Ford family against the Archdiocese of Boston. His name's Roger McLeish, and he also won the Frank Carnington Champion of Civil Justice Award from the National Crime Victims Bar Association. So he's a pretty distinguished teacher, and he just makes the class a lot of fun because it feels like you're in a real courtroom. And the final project for the class is also he makes up a mock trial for you, and mine was about racial profiling in airports, and I had to defend a person who had been randomly searched and then further interrogated, and they used torture tactics. Like, since he was Muslim, they brought a dog into the room, even though there was he wasn't threatening them, since there were already 4 police officers. And that's considered a torture tactic because Muslims have a fear of dogs just through their religion. So a lot of the things were just really interesting, and for the final project we also presented in front of a judge down at the courtroom. So that was a lot of fun too. It makes you feel like you're actually defending a client. Anything you want to know about the class or expectations?
Now, how large a class is this?
It's a general education class,
right,
so
they're
I only
pretty
had about
large.
26 students in my class, I think.
And lots of people not going into law at all. It was just specifically
Right.
or criminal justice.
Right. I think we only had 2 students that were interested in criminal justice as a major, but everyone that I talked to loved the class because it was more about our rights and opinions than actual just having to sit there and study things and memorize them.
Does it make you feel you want to be a lawyer?
I don't know. It was a fun class, but it's a lot of work.
Okay, just